Okay, hey guys, Esther here.
Hello, this is Tom.
And today on Celery to Clarity,
We have an orange.
we have an orange. We promised we would always have something healthy. We almost messed up because we had our celery juice in the morning and now we have our orange, so thank God we lived up to our promise. All right.
Bottom line, eat more fruits and vegetables.
Exactly. That is why this series is called Celery to Clarity. So Tom and I just visited the Cox Science Center. It's in West Palm Beach. And we were there because we wanted to have an experience with the planetarium as well as the films that they show there, all about different science and planetary kind of
What was it about today?
education.
We saw a series, a short 30-minute film about astronauts.
Yes,
And then we saw another one about black holes.
black holes. And so the point of this video today is all about burnout. And you might be thinking, well, what the hell does that have to do with this?
Black holes and astronauts.
Exactly. Well,
I
that
guess even astronauts could get burnt out.
exactly. So even just that alone can give a big conversation about burnout, right? And no
Did you want
point
a piece of
intended, right? With the black hole, burnout, get it? Burnout, black hole. Okay, tough audience.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, that's so good. Yeah,
Anyway,
right.
keep my day job.
Here, want an orange?
So today we're talking about burnout and burnout in life and at work. And so how do we avoid these kinds of things from happening? So the conversation began of, wow, how do you learn what you want to do with your life? Like, how does a person become an astronaut, right?
Yeah,
How does somebody realize,
that's what they want to do.
and how does someone realize that this is something that, you know, could be a really fulfilling career for them, and for any career for that matter? And so it got me thinking about different careers and how do we decide what we do. Like, Tom is an occupational therapist, acupuncturist. I write and teach about emotional intelligence. Now an author, you know.
You manage an office.
I manage an office. Let's do a cheap plug here. Florida Balance Centers, helping people with vertigo, balance, and dizziness problems, and acupuncture for your pain management needs. And so how does one decide that that's what they want to do? Well, then we got into the conversation of feeling burnt out. So let's say,
Even if you found a career that you're very passionate about, maybe in time you become burnt out because of the overload, the overwork, too many demands, other demands, life, relationships, maybe raising a family, having to go to work every day. So how do you manage burnout, I think, is what we ultimately came back to. You know, it's one thing to discover careers and paths, you know, through exploration, but it's another thing to finding out how to be able to continue to be in those careers and those paths without the burnout that sometimes comes along with that.
so the first part was, okay, how do I find that ultimate career that I want to be in, right? Well, let's just say if you're a parent, or let's say you're just starting out on your career path, I would say, we would say, start exploring. Go to museums, read information, look at all the different careers out there. Tom was mentioning how when he was young, he had different occupational representatives come to his school, right?
Yeah, talk about different things, what they do. But it's hard to relate sometimes, I think, when you're younger. And I was relating to that I really didn't decide until I got into college what I wanted to do. It took 2 years of being at college to finally say, hey, well, what direction do I want to go in? And even if you don't go to college, how do you find out where you want to work and what you want to do? You might have, you know, you might have to observe different types of employment. And I know when I was younger, I worked different jobs, from working at restaurants as a busboy to making ice cream cones at an ice cream shop, to being at a factory. It was a factory that made printed checks and things like that, having to clean the floors and be the janitor, So I was, as you're exposed to different jobs just to make money sometimes, right? As a younger person, and maybe some of that leads you to a career. But ultimately, even if you find a career that you love, what is the bottom line about a career that makes it fulfilling? And we talked about that, and that is that, do you feel like you're being of service? And even if you feel like you're being of service, does you can still become burnout from having too much to do, or just feel like, I guess emotionally, that you're exhausted.
Yeah.
So how do you counterbalance? The question here for the emotional intelligence component is, how do you counterbalance this burnout? Even if you love what you do, it can still become taxing emotionally and physically and psychologically.
And so here was the EQ tool. The EQ tool of that is, if you are in a situation where you can't explore other jobs, where you have to go to work every day, you have to make the money, or you're a young person and you don't have any other options but to do where you are and continue to move forward, you realize, and this is where the spiritual component comes in, we all have to realize that we are here on a bigger mission. Going to work, doing the everyday things, having our daily responsibilities, that is not for vain. It is not to take in vain. That there is a deeper, bigger purpose for each one of us. Meaning, the purpose of the everyday activities, even if it's something as mundane as taking out the trash, or let's just say you're working as a janitorial technician, or let's say you are doing something that you may feel is not so grandiose, whatever that may be, there is still divinity in what you're doing.
Well, that's easy to say. Let's say there's divinity in that, but you feel miserable. You just feel depressed. You don't want to wake up in the morning.
Yes.
You don't want to show up at work. Like, what good is that? I don't want emotion. That didn't help me emotionally get through my ability to wake up, go to that job, and still be there and show up and do the work.
Okay.
So how do you deal with that?
So how do you deal with that? Well, here's the beauty of it. Yes, I can make a big joke out of this, and you could say that you can, fiddle with the toilets, and you can, create some funny business in the public restrooms and cause some havoc. You could do that, but that's not the intention here. The intention is to realize that even in a mundane task, there is divinity, and that task, if you weren't there doing it, it wouldn't get done. And so you are a vital.
But I don't care. I'm miserable. I'm depressed. I'm angry. I'm upset. Maybe isn't the point maybe to feel those emotions a little? Maybe those emotions are there.
Yes, of course.
Of course. What can we get out of feeling those emotions?
And the point of these videos is for him to do that to me, so that we can get to the bottom line here. So we're not really doing this on purpose, but this is real. These are real conversations. This is the level of crazy that actually happens.
Causing because I'm angry at work and I cause a problem, that's not real. That's not a solution. That's actually adding to the problem that I'm creating for myself. Is now I'm causing harm or destruction because I'm bored, or I'm irritated, or I'm angry with my job and I don't like it. That so many times you go into a place and you're supposed to get service from someone and they're not happy, right? How does that feel for you as a customer? It doesn't feel good, right? And you can see, you can have an empathy for them, but at the same point, they're there doing that job. They need to be of service. So how can they overcome that emotional, like I said, dissatisfaction with what they're doing and still be able to perform while they're looking for something else? Would be my question.
Yeah. So again, number one is absolutely, you hit it on the head. Feel those emotions. That's number one. Feel the crazy. Feel the crazy, absolutely. Know that that's how you feel. Accept it, know it, be one with it, 100%. And then take the action.
What do you mean by being one with it? Like, I think I need
just
more
accept
clarity.
it. Accept that you feel this way.
Well, what is that?
Accept the crazy.
So accept that you're angry, you're depressed, what in that anger and depression is there for me? Is that a moment for me to say, hey, is there something in this anger and depression that I
is
need
a signal.
to learn?
Yes, that is a signal.
Do I have to
for
recognize why I'm reacting this way?
Yes.
In this moment, and what caused me to react this way?
Yes.
And where someone else might be in the same job and be very content and be happy doing what they're doing.
Exactly.
So maybe the lesson ultimately, emotionally, is for me to look at why I'm feeling that way, that negativity, that resentment, that anger, and then I can find out for me what it is that I have to work on, what it is I'm missing in my life, what it is that I'm looking for, seeking, that I'm not fulfilling, that's causing me to feel this lack of, contentment.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. You content now?
You're welcome.
Okay. Thank God for that one, right? Dodge that bullet. So yes, be one with it, accept it, understand it, and then you can start to make the practical steps that you can to start to make the changes that you need to make. And that is actually one of the biggest reasons for burnout that most people will experience in their job, is this lack of fulfillment, this lack of feeling purposeful, this feeling of, this is so boring, this is so unimaginative, what kind of job is this? This is unimportant. Well, just a reminder, every job where you are providing a service to humanity is important, because every single one of us is a part of a bigger picture that is helping and serving humanity. So if one of us is not doing a specific job, especially the jobs that other people don't want to do, that most people don't want to do, it is vital for the rest of our human family that every single one of us shows up for those jobs. So
maybe on that note, just use your emotions as a self-modulating feedback loop. If you're unhappy about something, then use that experience to dig deeper into what is the root of the unhappiness.
Excellent point, Tommy.
And with that, when we learn by doing, and what you resist persists. So that's as much as I can say right now.
And when you know and understand yourself, the world will know and understand you too. And remember, what's the best that can happen? Okay, guys, for more information and more videos like this, check us out, Florida Balance Centers, actually balancecenters.com, or EIEQinstitute.com. Okay, guys, check you later.
Bye-bye.